Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another brand new Unity tutorial video. Today I'm gonna show you guys how you can make an inventory system. Now it's been a while since I've actually made a Unity tutorial video, and all of my other tutorial videos have gotten a lot of positive feedback from that. So I appreciate you guys, and yeah, let's begin. So what are we actually going to do? So what we're gonna take a look at. Well, one of my previous videos was on how to pick up an item and then basically how to use it, right? But what if you want to pick up multiple items and store them somewhere, right? And then later down the line, you can actually do something with that. But we'll get into that in just a second here. So, first things first, how are we going to detect what item that we can pick up and what item that we cannot pick up, okay? So the first thing that you want to do is, well, I downloaded actually it's from Unity Asset Store. It's a prefab. We'll just use a blue pill, I guess. Now this thing is way too big, but we'll change that in just a second. We'll use a gold bar, why not? And then I guess a star coin as well. These things look really cool, but obviously, as you can see, they are way too big. So let's actually shrink them. So what I like to do is I like to hold down shift, go to the last object that I want to scale, click, and now everything is selected. Then we want to enable constraint proportions. That means that all of these items will be scaled evenly. So we'll just click on that and we'll say, I don't know, a 0.3. I think that looks pretty cool. And there is a simple script on here, and I think it is a simple, oh wait, why does it have two? We'll remove that. Simple gem animation, it's a float height, so I don't know, we'll just give it a 0.1, and the point scale is, I'll just do this as fast as I can, 4, boom, and then obviously do a copy component. So, okay, so after that, you guys don't need to do this, but I don't know, like it looks pretty cool. This is something that came with the package, so I'll take it, you know what I mean? So I will just put these items like in front of the player, like this. I don't know, you can play with it as much as you want, but in order to detect that we are hitting something, so we're going to use a raycast. Basically, if you don't know what a raycast is, it's basically like an invisible laser that's going to be put on the first person controller or the main camera. And that will detect if an item is in range, and if it is, we'll check what kind of a layer it is on, and if it is on the layer that we want, we will be able to pick it up. So I'm going to select all these three prefabs. We're going to go to let me add a box collider on this, and we'll also add a rigid body, and we'll also make sure that it is kinematic, otherwise it will just fall through the floor if your other objects in your scene don't have any colliders on them. But we don't want that. I just want them to be floating around like this, and with the cool simple gem animation script, I think it will look cool. Actually, let me see how this looks. Okay, so this is pretty much how it looks. I like it, it's turning. I like the way that looks, but obviously right now we cannot do anything. So back out of it. Okay, so first things first, I want to go to layers, and we're gonna add a new layer, and I'm just gonna call it item. Not in caps, just for fuck's sake, item, there we go. And then I will select all the models again. I will go to layers and then select item. So in order to make this as dynamically as possible, so we can add more items or as many as we want, we're gonna create an item class script. So I'm actually gonna go to my scripts folder, and I'm gonna create a new folder, and I'll just call it inventory. Why not? There we go, inventory, and in here we'll just add a script, and we'll just call it item. Why not? So basically what we're gonna do is put these scripts, or put this script on any object, and our inventory system, which will be a separate C# script, will detect, okay, what item is it, what kind of a name has it, and we'll add that to the inventory. So we'll remove everything, and the only thing that we need is a public string called item name, and that's it. That is all that we need to do. Now we're gonna yet again select everything. Gonna go to add a component and we're gonna search for item. And now you want to select them individually. We'll just say this is a blue pill and this is a gold bar, like that, and this is a star coin. That's it. Now our objects are pretty much done. That's all that we need to do for the objects that we want to pick up. So the next thing that we want to do is make that raycast. We're going to add another script and we're just going to call this item raycast. Doesn't really matter. We can remove the start function. We're going to need a public float called raycast distance. There we go. Now we'll actually give it a default value of 5. If I can actually, there we go, and 5F, there we go. I'm actually gonna remove that as well. Next up, we need a reference to our layer mask. So we'll say layer mask, and we'll say item layer. There we go. Okay, in the update, we wanna say ray is equal to a new raycast or a new ray and like that for me, so that. I would say raycast hit is pretty much I think everybody knows how to use this. Say fit, no. Okay, obviously it's gonna start. Well, it's gonna say, well, we don't have, it doesn't exist, right? So first things first is we're gonna actually get out of here and we're gonna create our new script called inventory, and then we'll say public static inventory instance. And now if I save this, well, we'll use the capital I. Well, it's gonna start saying, yeah, well, there isn't any function called add item, so we'll do that in just a second. I don't want to only like show this in the inspector, but I also want to add like a canvas and then show it inside of a UI, you know, like whatever item that you can pick up, I will increase that number whenever that we pick up an item. So to do this is we're gonna make a private dictionary. We'll pass it in a string and an int. We'll just do it like that. Thank you for the autocomplete, and we'll not call this inventory, we'll call this items. Okay, then you don't need to do this, but I like to do this. It keeps it. UI references. There we go. And then we're gonna say public TMP text, and it will automatically use the text mesh pro, or it will be saying using TM Pro, so that is good. And we'll say blue pill text, and then we can copy this and then we can rename it to star. Was it star point? No, star. I don't know, we'll change it later. I can't remember exactly what the name was. And gold bar as well. Then in our void awake, we're gonna say instance is this. I'm gonna say items, items blue pill. Now we gotta make sure here that the name that you gave your items, so this one, has the exact same name as in here, otherwise it will not recognize it. I will set that to 0, and I will do that with the other stuff. Oh shit, items, there we go. Copy this, and I'm actually gonna see what we call it. Blue star coin. Okay, so we'll say star coin, and then what was the other one? Gold bar. Gold bar, there we go. Okay, then we obviously have to make that function called add an item. So we're gonna make a public void, otherwise our other script called item raycast isn't gonna be able to access it. So we gotta name it add item, and as a parameter we're gonna say string, because we have to give it a name, or the name of the item itself, and then the int amount. I'll actually set that to 1. Okay, and then in an if statement we gotta check items, But if it contains the key of item name, it does it automatically, so thank you very much. No, wait, we gotta add the plus icon. Plus, and else, we should say items. Item name is equal to the amount. And then in here, I think that is it. That's all that we need. Then we need a private void called update UI, and in here we obviously got the, I'm just gonna copy this, place it in here, but obviously we also gotta give it the same exact name, so Starcoin. And then we gotta call this in here and the awake, and that's it, I guess. Okay, we have no console errors whatsoever, so the next thing that we need to do is go to our first person camera, and we're gonna put in that raycast item raycast, and we're gonna say only look for the an item with the layer called item. Then I'm gonna create a empty game object, and we'll just call this inventory, and we'll put that script in here as well. Obviously we have a few references to a UI, so we'll create one. Go to UI, canvas, click on 2D, zoom in or zoom out, whatever. I'm gonna create an empty, and I'm just gonna say blue pill. We'll give it a width and a height of, no, 4 was too much, 180. And then this as well. In here, we're gonna create an image, so a raw image. I'm gonna say icon image. There we go. And then we gotta go to our textures folder, and I already pulled up some PNGs. It's literally just a simple gold bar icon logos that you can find on Google very easily. You just gotta make sure that it is a PNG and it doesn't have any background, unless you want it to, but I don't want that in this case. So this is gonna be blue pill. Well, basically it's any pill. We'll put it here, and then very important, we're gonna create a text, and we're gonna say blue pill amount, boom. And using the anchor, I'm gonna dock it below. We'll say float in the middle, and we'll give it a 0. And actually, I'm gonna give it a black color, and that is it. Then we can take this, we can put it to the right side, and we can copy it 2 more times. So that is 1, and that is 2. And obviously we're gonna call this whatever that you want to pick up, so Starcoin and gold bar. And we also gotta rename it to the correct item, so Starcoin amount and gold bar amount. Now you don't really necessarily need to name them, it's just easier for me so I don't forget it. Then we're gonna click back on our inventory, and we're gonna say blue pill amount, and we're gonna just set the references, so star text and then gold bar, boom. Oh, and we also gotta change the icons, so we'll just drag it in, the gold bar, boom. Now if I press on play, you can see that if I come close enough, so I won't be able to pick it up from here because we gave it a distance, but if I come closer, press on E, we can see that the amount is added, and I can do that with all the other stuff. Gotta make sure that we aim it correctly. Oh, and I just realized that we gave it the freaking wrong icon. There we go, that's the correct one. So I'm actually we'll just duplicate it just so I can show you guys that this does work. So I'll add some few coins over here. We'll add another bar over here, I guess, just so I can show you guys that it doesn't matter how much of this stuff you have laying around, you can pick it up as much as you want. So if I go into full screen, boom, boom, boom. And then if I go to my Starcoin again, we can see it has been increased by 1. And yeah, that is basically it, guys. I hope that everything was clear. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I'll try to answer and help you guys as much as possible. By the way, this is like super simple and super fast, so if you guys want to see a part 2 of this, make sure to leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in next video. Peace.